from Sports would you like to lead on? Vincent, good afternoon. You well?
Good afternoon, yeah. Sure.
What's the mood been like this week? Because I know we've talked in the past about morale, but Saturday's defeat against West Ham seemed particularly shattering.
I think there's no other way to put it. It was pretty cruel to finish the game this way, and obviously you carry that with you for a couple of days. But I think as well, one of the things we've always been good at is to press a reset button and obviously go again. But yeah, there's no other ways to put it. It was a tough one on Saturday.
There are no heads going down at the moment then?
No, that would never happen. It would never happen.
Why? Why would it never happen?
Because you got to be. Maybe you can't be as fast as the opposition all the time. Maybe you can't be as technically gifted as the opposition all the time. But you've got to have the things that make you stand out. And I think one of the things has always been a part of this club, my journey here anyway, is that we just got there's a resilience about the place, and that remains.
How resilient are you going to have to be on Saturday? Because again, a lot of people look at that fixture and think 2 teams in the bottom 3, little gaps starting to appear in the table. It's
that kind of fixture. I think there's no need to say it any different than it is. It's a massive game for both teams. And then it's part of what you have to face in a career, So for these players who are going to be taking the field on that day, they're not the easiest one in terms of leading into, but they're the ones that make you as well. They're the ones that you have to look forward to sometimes, And
in terms of the squad, I just wondered. I know it was a huge adventure back in the summer, bringing a lot of new players in.
Yeah.
With hindsight,
it was a necessity.
Is that a gamble maybe hasn't paid off up to now?
I don't like gambling. I'm not. It's not in my nature. So I think I tried to explain it a few times, but we had 6 players on loan last season, right? So you take the combined value of just those 6 players that we would have to replace from last season. I think all of them went for anything between 15 to 25 million. I'm not naming specifics, but that's roughly what their market value was after they've been with us. So just to get back up to that replenishment, we had to make some investments. And then as well, for us, we was always going to be in a position where you're a little bit in that, like every team that's come up, you're a little bit in that in-between zone where you're pushing to become a Premier League team, but as well there's still the threat of relegation. And one thing you can't do is go and spend all of your money on players that you can't get, that you can't resell if the worst case scenario happen. And then as well, I think you have as well historically for us, we've always had a very old squad. So it was just to find a little bit of balance, and I think everything we did is try and protect some of the core of the squad that was still there from last season, like Jay Rodriguez was playing, Charlie Taylor, and at the same time try and bring in players that were between maybe 23, 26-year-old range, but buying Premier League proven players was never a possibility. So you find a way that makes sense, and still that's something that I believe makes us capable of dealing with any scenario, which is important in our case.
You wanted cohesion. You always talked about cohesion.
Yeah.
Have you been disappointed or surprised that it's not happened as quickly as you thought?
No, look, I there's no hiding away from the results, so there's no point of doing it. I just have to say that the team's been playing really well, and that's the truth. So, I see a team that is, like I said, I always look forward to see the team play. I always look forward to see the team perform. They put in real fight, and so the players who are not playing now, there's a lot of them that still have a very important role towards the later stages of the season. But what I've seen from the team so far, it's really falling down to result at the moment, which is a key component. But I can't make it about that much more than that at the moment.
And in terms of we're a month away from the window, are you and the chairman thinking maybe we need to tweak, maybe we need to bring in a bit more experience?
It, it depends. If we if we can find the right fit, any club in our position, we have to be open to that. But as well, I still think that between now and the end of now and the start of the transfer window, let's see what happens. We've been active anyway on the transfer market in general. But between now and the transfer window, we also have to be willing to see what the team is able to show still, You
just wonder whether maybe a bit of experience might just help some of the youngsters.
Yes, but what you have to take in consideration in this league, you cannot forget about what this league is becoming. It's the profile of players. It's more important than anything. So experienced player with the right profile, level of athleticism and everything that goes with the league, it's always a plus. But it comes at a price, it comes at a cost where we're not always able to sit at that table. But we can't forget what this league is turned into. It's like you send someone in with the amount of resource that the Premier League have, and they just go and pick and choose all over Europe, all over the world, and you get this kind of hybrid of technically gifted players, but who can just run you off the park as well, who are fast, who are athletic, and they can hurt you in a number of ways. So what I'm saying is, the say of what it used to be of just having an experienced player there, you have to be careful you have the right profile, otherwise it doesn't save you. Not in this league anymore.
Final one from me, sin bins. That's been talked about since we last spoke to you, I think.
Yeah, Grabbers needed 10 minutes to explain to me what it was.
What do you think?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and it's the visual. So do you sit on the bench or like separate?
The way in rugby league it works, that a certain level of offence, you have to go and have a little 10-minute breather for being naughty, basically.
Look, I'm usually up for reform, but that might even go too far for me. I think where I can see the point is maybe specifically for dissent. Maybe in that case, because a lot of the times it's not hard. It's not justifiable to be a red card, and as well, people get away with it a bit more. But if it's any other phases of play, I'm not sure I can see the relevancy. But maybe for dissent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard Berge, PLP.
Vincent, in the immediate aftermath...
Can coaches also go in that box? I'm trying to figure out.
In the immediate aftermath last weekend, I noticed that you did say you felt a template had been laid down now for the way you need to approach and play games going forward. Given the nature of this weekend's fixture, though, and the relative place of the two teams in the division, does that template apply, or is this a standalone fixture in itself?
I think the templates apply always. You have to have a blueprint of what you want to do. It's not just for ourselves, but for the other team as well. But I can see how these games can be standalones at times, where anyone that says it's going to be about the tactical template, it doesn't understand what this type of games are about. It's about the other things of the game as well. And but that's something that we always put at the forefront anyway. But it's a different type of game. You still have a blueprint, but both teams will be looking to show character, and that's what you also believe can make the difference in games,
How much do you feel that both Sheffield United and yourselves have changed? Because obviously last season you met twice, 2 entertaining games, you're at the top end of the table. This season you're in a different position, but obviously you're playing at the highest level.
No, we're facing some of the same challenges, and look last year, but like I don't know what the press conference would be like for my colleague, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't mention that you cannot compare the Championship. Like, please don't. It's completely different, and therefore you're always now trying to, I think, you try and find a shortcut to make sure that you try and find a way. Like for example, the last game we played, finding a way to win, that's the key component to everything you have to do at this level as well. And you try and find a way to win constantly, and you'll be doing no different than what we're doing. And as a part of it, whether you're adapting or not, that's just a natural part of when you face different challenges.
And just finally for me, what's the team news going into this game? Obviously, you're now embarking in December when you've got 6 or 7 games to play.
Yeah, but I like a crowded fixture. I think they've done their best for the Christmas period, to be fair. But I like a crowded fixture, and I'm really looking forward to the week coming up. And I think for us, it's also, there is that element of the Sheffield game where you always have to deal. I think both teams will have to deal with that must do. But then for us also, a lot of the games that are coming up now in December we have to look at them as opportunities, because I don't think we have to rely on anybody else. I think a lot of the pressure a little bit naturally will go because people will assume things, and fair enough. But that for us means that every game is an opportunity to, get a run together, turn the amount of performances we've had as well in good results. So I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. I think there'll be teams going into it with a lot more to lose than us. We've just got to look at this as a way to continue performance into results.
Is everybody fit that was available last week?
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've had a training session this morning, so the honest answer is we'll see. We'll see. There might be one late phone call I need to get from the doctor tonight.
Thank you. Scott, Radio Lancashire.
Vincent, you just said you can't compare the Championship to the Premier League. It is the top two from last season. So with that in mind, is this where you thought both sides would be at about this stage of this season?
I tried to... I think that the honest truth, and I'm not speaking specifically about games won or games lost, because in all honesty, you want to win more games. There's absolutely no other way to put it. And the games where you're close to winning, especially those hurt a little bit. But okay, it's done now. And then to be honest, to say that both of our teams would be in and around those positions, I think you have to plan for it. But in the end, I never wanted to put a statement in at the beginning that said you play against relegation, because you also don't want to kill your upside from the beginning. But to make the answer simple, I think we all came in with a lot of hopes. But also myself and Paul have probably been in the Championship, in the Premier League long enough to know that this is a serious level, and it takes it'll take everything we've got to be at this level.
So realistically, of the three that came up, it was unlikely that any three would kind of bounce on from the success of last season and take it into this season.
No, I think you always hope, and the season is still long. I mean, when I'm stood here before you, I still have in my head very firmly that this team has to continue what it's been doing in terms of performances, but obviously find that way to win, turn those chances that we have, because we have enough chances, but turn them into goals more often, and make sure we can stay tight at the back. And then in that case, I see still a lot of progress in our squad. You mentioned our squad and how the makeup of our squad. It means there's still a lot from our squad to come over the future. So the hope is still there. But the reality is it's tough.
The defeat at their place last season was one of those games that I think kicked you on last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a core moment for us, yeah.
If you can win on Saturday, could that potentially do something similar this season?
I'd hope so. I mean, I felt it was coming on last Saturday already, to be fair. But I'm really prepared for it to come at any time. But I think this game, we called it a standalone game. I think it's fair to say that, last year when you played this game, both teams are at the top of the league. So it's a completely different mindset. I think now, with both teams being at the bottom, it just shows again a little bit maybe the reality of what we're facing this season. But, Luton also came up and they're ahead of us. So for us, it's more a case of, I've seen it as well, Sheffield have been in close games as well and couldn't bring it over the line, so we're experiencing something similar. The biggest thing is to turn this game into something valuable. That's what we want to do at home, with the support of our fans and just, like I said, get the result. That's key for us.
You spoke to us a lot since you've been here about what your team's like out of possession. last weekend, was that as good as it's been so far this season for you?
Yeah, I thought he was good against Arsenal. I thought he was good against Crystal Palace. I'll only feel good about it when we get the win. The win and a clean sheet, and but that's why I'm really reluctant to draw too much of a, how can I say, a general conclusion, because the truth is they've done really well in terms of performances, but that's not enough, and that's the missing link now that we want to close on Saturday.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have this pre-embargo?
This isn't embargo.
Yeah. How heavy has it weighed on you in the last few weeks with the defeats? Well, you must have been a bit of soul searching from a managerial perspective.
Soul searching.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
The performance has been so good, but you've not had the results.
Yeah. No, I think you get tested in terms of the things you preach sometimes, because if you preach resilience and mental discipline and all these things, you get confronted with that in moments like this, because emotionally, of course, after the game, like everyone else, for 24, 48 hours, it's not great. But then in the end, I think you're in this job because you love everything that comes with it, and in the end, you've got to lead, and then for me, I can change very quickly to being focused again on what's ahead, and that's the game against Sheffield.
And over the last few weeks, particularly last weekend, what has given you the encouragement that you can get out of this?
I just see behind the scenes, total dedication, work rate. Perhaps I don't know how much it transpires to you guys, but if there's ever a story in the future to be written about this club, is perhaps how different it behaves in moments like this. It's I can really say I don't think I've ever encountered anything like this. It's too quick to start being all emotional about this, but the truth is, it's what you described. There's a total focus on what we need to do. People are calm. People are together, supporting each other, and when there's something that needs to get sorted out, we're able to talk about it, and we do it, and we can do it in a group and progress from it. So that gives me, again, the feeling that this is a place where things will turn, but it's got to happen on the pitch.
Thank you, Jay.
Just sorry.
Actually,
Is someone yielding his question for the young man?
I just going back to last week. Can it act as a galvanising effect? Just the way the game was lost. There've been examples in the past where teams have had difficult moments, but then immediately they've sort of fed on that and gone on big runs that got themselves.
Yeah,
out.
but it has to be, because the frustration is definitely there. It's not something that I've experienced only myself. It's everyone within the club, and I think the first thing we wanted to do is have a game back at Turf Moor as quick as we could. So we're really looking forward to the Saturday game, and that's for us. That it can't come quick enough. Yeah.
Hi, Vinny. JJ Watt came out yesterday and said you're going nowhere. Is it good to have that backing from a shareholder?
There's many shareholders at the club, you know that.
He's the one that come out and talks.
Yeah. Now, look, yes, it's always better than hearing the opposite of that, right? But I think, in all fairness, like I say, the lines of communication within the club itself are open enough for me to just on a daily basis, weekly basis, have conversations that are always very transparent and very clear. So, I mean, he's going to be doing a lot of interviews between now and the next game and the game after that. So I can't answer to every quote as well, guys. It's happening in America as well, I think, right? These come on, guys, put into context.
Sander Berge obviously keen to impress against his old side. What have you made of how he's done since signing from Sheffield United?
I think he's one of the players that has looked recently as a leader for our team, and it'll be big again it'll be massively important for us again on Saturday, and in the games ahead, I think so. But I think his progress throughout the start of this season has really lined up well with how the team has progressed, and yeah, I just want to see them pick up the points to actually be able to confirm that they're on the right track.
Muric and Jack Cook obviously missing last week. How are they getting on?
Yeah, Arrow's still struggling a little bit, and Corky is not going to be ready for this week, but hopefully we'll be able. Arrow's not really trained this week, so we'll see.
Thank you, Matt. Just before we go to the embargoed section, Ian from PA Media. Thanks.
Vinny, I was going to ask about Sander as well. I just wanted to say, we talked about the number of players that came in the summer. Is he amongst the most important, just in terms of the instant impact he was able to have as a more experienced player?
Yeah, he had obviously he had a year of Premier League experience already. He's an international, so I think, and he's shown that this he can play at this level. So it was always important for us to find a balance, but you never know whether it takes 6 weeks or 6 months for someone to settle in. And he took some time, but what he's showing now, I think he's on the right track.
Yeah, and he has developed it. Would you say he's been one of the most important players over the last few weeks? It feels like he has been to us.
Yeah, definitely. He has been. And you can see it. I mean, his performance at Arsenal was outstanding, Crystal Palace, West Ham, but it's like I said, I think, the progress of the team is kind of lined up with his progress as well, which is completely normal. That's why you go in a transfer window, to hopefully try and make the team better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Okay, we'll move to the embargo.